Yeah, Gaurav, please start. Yeah, Gaurav, you may start, please.
Okay. So hello everyone. Welcome to another day of AGILE SCRUM. Let's begin from where we had left off. I believe that we were looking at DDDM. That's data driven decision making. Is that right? And do you understand the flow of it, everyone? You can unmute and you can say yes if I am audible to all of you. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes.
Can you please confirm? Yeah, thank you so much. So what you see here is one example, okay? And this example talks about Prerna, can you just scroll little up? I'm not able to see the heading of the slide somehow.
Yeah, it's a requirement example. See, yesterday we completed MS Excel, Visual, and Word and all those. And even we studied the requirement, technical and functional requirements. And today there is an example of requirement. Yeah. So,
And
do you want me
DDDM have we
to?
completed?
No, we have not. We have not started.
Okay,
After this, we'll be
okay.
having.
Okay, not a problem. So, yes. So what you see here and what you saw exactly, that was about a requirement, how to gather requirement. By now you have understood the uh, few processes, I mean few steps. So did you go through the steps, guys? Means how we note, how we initiate any requirement gathering. Did you get that idea in the last slide? Say yes or no. What is the normal procedure? And it's okay if you did not go through, and but you need to confirm me. All right, so I'll take this as no.
We
So
started
requirement.
we started requirement gathering yesterday, so we went through types of requirements.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for your confirmation. So because you have gone through the type of the requirement, let me quickly tell you what sort of consideration you must have. So one thing you must be knowing, which is called as scope creep. What it is known as, everyone? What it is called as? What is the term? Just what I said. It's called as scope creep. What it is called as?
Scope creep.
Exactly. Scope creep defines what you are going to include as well as what you are planning to exclude when it comes to requirement. So in the scope creep, what we are going to include? Inclusion and exclusion in the layman term. What are the words? Can you confirm?
What we are going to include and what we are going to exclude.
Yes, that's right. And for that very reason, you see here one example of requirement gathering where I believe that all of us have sometime done few of the e-commerce or say that online shopping on the e-commerce website. Is that right? Everyone has done that. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm sure no one is here without such online shopping. So what? Imagine an example where Amazon has been furnished a software with each and everything, but today they decide, okay, let's do one thing. Let's include the PayPal integration when it comes to payment method on which page? On the third page of how many steps are included in this. So here, when example, when you see, so first you need to be very much clear what you are going to do. So here 5 question has to be a minimum you need to answer when it comes to gathering the requirement. And these question you can see here: what, where, when, and why. So before I more go in deeper, I want this 4 people these 4 question: what, where, when, why. So you can unmute and start reading them.
What? PayPal integration.
Okay, the next one, next person.
Checkout.
Okay, the third person.
When with step 3 or 4 in the checkout experience after the shipping address web form before confirmation.
Yeah, and the fourth one.
Why an established integration example paper is a better solution than a robust custom build integration for a payment service in this case, because
Yeah.
it easily meets client requirements.
Yeah. So let me quickly debrief this. So thank you so much everyone for reading this out. So understand that whenever you are doing any online shopping, there are two type of payment solutions are there. Okay. Say for example, Amazon understands that when it comes to um, enabling my customer for what? Enabling my customer for payment when they go ahead and they key in their credit card details, what exactly happens. So they need to not only just punch in the 60-number card, its expiry dates, as well as the CVV number. Then sometimes they get OTP, and sometimes transaction fails, sometimes transaction does not. So we need to be in such a position that it goes more hassle free. Okay, and I'm sure that many of you might have experienced the same, that sometimes transaction fails too. Have you ever experienced that, everyone?
Yes.
When you
Yes.
Yes. So it's quite natural. And just to avoid that, PayPal was PayPal was considered as another payment option where you need to just enable the payment ID, or say that address of the uh, person, and then thereby you will be given the opportunity to perform the direct payment. So here, what is very much clear, when is very much clear, when it comes to the inclusion, the at the third step of total four steps, means once client has put key in their address details, then this PayPal has to be activated and the payment will be processed. But here there are something to which we are calling it as a assumption. So when it comes to assumption, you need to be very much clear that you are including them in the scope. So whenever something you are assuming in your mind, so what you should do, should you include them in your requirement or not? What clarity you are getting from here?
Yes, we should include it.
Yes. So it can be any kind of damn situation, or say for example assumption in your mind. Kindly understand to include them. So that's the reason here assumption is mentioned, that when it comes to flat fee for shipping and handling, uh, that has been considered. All shipping is within the USA, and it will not be inside Alaska or Hawaii, and there is no extra taxes apply. Okay, so and even when it comes to assumption part, what you have included, you have mentioned over here, and say for example some clarity you are getting as part of exclusion, that has been also mentioned here. You see that it clearly says that custom shipping and handling fee is calculated, that is exclusion, that we are not considering in the requirement. Shipping internationally, the same example of Alaska and Hawaii. Okay, so it has been excluded, it is not being considered. So these level of clarity is given. And then if at all any tax rules are there, okay, so that will be considered. Okay, any questions so far when it comes to inclusion, assumption and exclusion, what we need to take care? Okay, if not, then I want someone to read the uh, last line of this slide from Remember.
The smaller the delta between client expectation and reality with their digital products, the happier your client is going to be with the end result.
Yeah, Thank you so much for reading this out. So one thing I keep on telling that you need to, there are two type of people. One approaches to the customer being a CEO, okay, and as if that tomorrow they will be the CEO or the founder of the company. That's okay. You, in reality, you can be, but attitude by wise, don't be the CEO. Instead, become the CDO. And what do you understand? What do we mean by the CDO?
Customer delight
Customer
officer.
delight.
Customer delight
Oh
officer.
my God. Everyone knows that. Okay, I thought you don't know. So thank you so much for knowing this already. So yes, customer delight officer, that creates just not the intention, but that creates the power in serving, because ultimately whatever you are performing or doing, it is just for the for customer service. Okay, and if you know, the more clear requirement you will collect, and more assumption and say for example some limitation in mind you have, you are just mentioning them so that the clarity will be there very much in front of your customer and between you. So there are chances that there will not be any room for any gap that you will be creating when you are in reality developing the software. Okay, so that's the reason the statement comes over here. The smaller the delta between your understanding of the requirement and the real product, the better it is going to be and happier the client would be. Okay, so these few things you are going to consider when it comes to requirement gathering. So there is a way to simplify it. So how do you do that? For that, let's move to the next slide. Prerna, we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So what are these steps? So initially you happen to meet customer and say for example, product owner has been given the charge that okay, these are the requirements and that you need to develop. And say for example, for the very first meeting, a product owner is visiting the client. So what exactly it is decided that let's take a business analyst together. The requirement discussion is going on, and this is the time where you as a business analyst continue to take the notes. Okay, once you take the notes, you can go more creative. Okay, and as a third step, you can create some annotation, pictorial representation for your understanding. These are the few steps. Then you come back from the meeting, you had some question, you ask them, then properly you will write them in the requirement document. And for that, say for example, company is following certain template, you are going to use that only. In case you are starting your own company and there is no hard and fast rule that it has to be just like in this format. There are multiple based on, excuse me, there are multiple formats are available over the internet. You can simply download, but yeah, few key ingredients are required over there where you are going in detail, like you are writing use cases and all. So in that detail, how you can go ahead, simply your format or template will allow you to write those details in the requirement document. Kindly go ahead and fill them. So once your requirement document is ready, you will hold an internal review that what you have collected the requirement, you have now simplified, defined and presented, made it presentable. What you are going to do is that you are going to hold an internal review with your colleagues, okay, or your peers or your with subordinates. And tell me why you need to do that. Why you need to do that? What do you think?
Because if any requirement gap from business analysts, he can discuss, like team can point out and they can ask questions.
That's brilliant. Yes, you are right. So in case at all any gaps, any doubts, what sometime business analyst may also not answer, that is time you are well prepped, or business analyst can take a note of it and he can extend those doubts and question to whom?
To the customer.
Exactly, you are right.
The client.
To the customer. Yes, to client. Okay. And if customer does not have any answer, so he will or she will just give you time to come back and they will. Okay. Likewise, that happens with the external review. If internal review has been passed, you go ahead and the same thing you do in the external review, where you are giving the opportunity for the customer to take a note on all those doubts and the question which are pending from them to answer. Okay, so these are the 6 steps you are going to follow, and sometime you send it for external review and they not mandatorily are going to come back to respond to you. So, but from your end, you have completed some tasks. Okay, you should not wait for them until they come back and then you initiate. Okay, your work will start as per the plan. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Any
Yes.
doubt? Okay, all right. Prerna, we can
Gaurav,
go
I
to the
have,
next slide. Yeah, go ahead, ask.
yeah, like make, create, sorry, if Prerna, if you can move to previous slide, like this make, creative, and make annotation, like we have to make some flow chart or like picture presentation or something. Like I didn't understand this.
Make annotation means to understand the flow, you can go ahead and create pictorial representation. What all kind of pictorial representation you can choose? Initially, it should be understandable by you. Okay. Later,
Okay.
you can go ahead. You can give them the flow of flow chart or simple activity diagram. It depends upon that. How do you want to convert? But initially, when to get started, it should be understandable by you. So that you are going to keep in mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It
got it?
has to be simple, right? Not very
It has to
anything
be
very.
simple. You cannot do that when you are discussing with the customer. You cannot go ahead and go more, time-consuming activity you are not going to do,
Okay.
because he will be
Okay.
on rant giving you more and more information. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. So yes, let's move further. We can move to the next slide, Prerna. Yeah. So what you see here is DDDM, means data driven decision making. So in this framework, you can put any flow, okay, or any problem, and you will come out with the solution. So you might have heard this phrase that problem well defined is half solved. Have you heard this thing ever? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's when it comes into the picture where you need to define your problem well. Okay. And the moment you are well done with defining the problem, then second step says that analyze the data. Okay. What is the problem? And then you will analyze how gradually it has evolved. And then based on that, you develop the insight. Insight means that where you will have some key point to collect. And then on the step 4, when you collect the key points, then based on that you develop some aha moments of insight or some observation. And step 4, you will test based on those insights if you are willing to bring some new inclusion. And at the end, you will review that insight. If it is doable, workable, you are going to implement them back. And for that very reason, we are going to take one example of online marketing. Let me quickly tell you in online marketing what exactly happens. In that online marketing, what exactly happens, I'm sure that many a time what might have happened that you are browsing your internet or Facebook, you might have seen some you know advertisement pops up. Have you ever observed that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And these advertisement when pop up, what do you think that where when it pops up, so is the same advertisement is available for everyone? Everyone sees that most of the time. What do you think?
No.
I don't think so, Gaurav, because mostly these days the advertisements are based on the search words. Whatever we search on one website, it also comes upon like those related advertisements will be popped up in different sites, whatever we go for.
Yeah. Yes. So there is a way, there is a formula for such advertisement to appear. Say, for example, one person is running an ad, and the whole idea is to tap certain target audience. When he or she tries to publish this ad for them, that happens if they have certain target market, depending upon their interest, whatever the budget are there and whatever the availability of target audience is there. uh, Say for example, the target is to capture 5 million people. Okay, 20% of these people will be in first flow, in the first trial. They are captured. Okay, they they made to see that ad. Okay, and out of that, what exactly happens is, out of whatever the outcome or the number of 5 million is there, 20% of 5 million is there, the reach will happen to continue with those 20%, but 20% of that result will be able to engage with your ad. So whatever the engagement rate will be there, based the 20% of that will get to, react on your ad. 20% the reaction is there, then out of 20% may land up to your landing page, or say where you are just expanding your advertisement. So that may generate, they will fill the form, they may become your lead, but not all those leads will get sold by you, and the 20% of that may get converted. So this is the ideal way, and 20% is not going to be always a universal truth, that 20% is going to be the result. Sometimes it varies between 10 to 20% as well as a final result, when we are going to convert any, what do you call, when we are going to convert any, uh, convert them as a customer in return of the sale of some product or services. All right, so this is how it performs. So while this you are understanding, let's go to the next slide and try to understand this. So understand that it has been created based on your reach, based on your budget. If your budget is 1 rupees, you are reaching 1 million. I'm just giving random example, hypothetical example. If you will increase by 2 lakhs, 2 rupees or $2, it will reach to 2 million people. Okay, so depending upon what budget is giving you the opportunity to reach how many people. Can we move to the next slide, Prerna? Next slide, please. Prerna, we need to move to next slide, please. Yeah. So what you see here, can 5 different people read the 5 different indicators? What is mentioned below that?
Problem, I am falling short of my revenue goal.
Analysis, I am missing my lead goal KPI by 50%.
Next one.
Insight, I am missing out on 75% of search impression share due to lack of advertising budget.
And the next one.
Test, increasing advertising budget by 50% over the course of 30 days.
Exactly. And the last one.
Result. Increased and budget improved impression share, resulting in lead KPIs being achieved and revenue goal realized.
Yeah. So guys, what you understand, exact those steps where you are defining a problem. The problem was that the person is not able to make certain amount, and you know that the amount is going to come only by selling, by performing the right sales services. Okay, and he decides that X number of budget he has kept, and in return he is not getting. He analyzes that, and then insights come as that 75% of search impression share due to lack of advertising budget. Then he decides, let's test it, increase the 50% budget, and he gets his result. So this is what exactly the steps was being followed. Prerna, we can move to the next slide. Yeah. And here what you see is exactly what we are discussing here has been written till the last step of the result. And in 30 days, the return on advertising spend was captured when the increase in the budget was decided. So here everything in the detail has been mentioned. Problem, you are defining that. Analysis, the what question you are answering. Inside, why it is happening, that is you are going to mention in detail. And what you are going to test is the how part. I would request you, someone is speaking in the background. I would request you to go on mute. Rajni, could you please go on mute? Rajni, please go on mute. Thank you. Yeah. And the how part is answered, and then you move to the result. Any question around it, guys?
No.
Guys, any question? No?
No.
Okay. Prerna, we can move to the next slide, please. Yeah. And here comes business analysis with business analytics with Excel. So last time I had given you one Excel. Exactly, this is the repetition of that. Okay. Where I was talking about BA as a business analyst. What exactly you are expected? You should have little bit of knowledge of Excel as well. And there I had taught about how you summarize some data. Do you remember that?
Yes.
In the very
Yes.
first session? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is exactly the repetitive slide. We can go to the next PPT, Prerna. We can stop this and we can continue with the next one. Prerna, please confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, Gaurav, give me a second. I'll stop share.
Yeah, please.
Gaurav, is the screen visible?
Yeah, Prerna, it is visible. So we have taken this slide. We can move to the next one.
Yeah, Gaurav.
So guys, there are multiple formulas as well. Not only that, what you saw that as a part of, what do you call,
Pivot table.
pivot table. So few formula that you must be knowing, that sum if, or so that for that if you want to really learn more in detail Excel, so you can definitely go through w3schools.com. Okay, and there you can definitely of this Excel. So that will be only useful. Prerna, do you want to add some comment over here?
Gaurav, your
When it
voice
comes-
is breaking up and we could not hear the site address that you told us. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, let me repeat that for you if his voice is not audible. The website is called as W3 Schools, and let me also, can I put that in the chat? Yeah, I'll just put that in the chat for everyone. It's www.w3 tools.com. You can Google it. It's a, yeah, I've sent on chat to everyone. Yeah, so it's a very easy to understand beginner level website for almost all the online training. I mean, for languages and for overall understanding of how if you want to go ahead with testing like SQL, MySQL, so anything you want to learn on basic level, this is the website. You can just glance it through at your spare time. Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead.
So this
Thank
is
you.
about Excel as well as the basic requirement you have heard about the SQL. Prerna has given you the name of the site. Use that to learn these. But few of them is that like some if length, counting the length of the character, then find and search. These few elements are there where what you should be top up on them. So this is the basic requirement is expected from business analysts to have little bit of understanding when it comes to Excel. Apart from the pivot table, when you will be developing pivot table, that is the time when you get to know more about such formulas. So that's about all about in this slide. We can move to the next slide. Prerna, we can move to the next slide, please. And here is the pictorial representation, the same from the pivot table. Like you have been given to practice, you will get to see the similar kind of data and summary based upon them. So this is another representation of the very same. And we can go to the next slide, Prerna, further. Yeah. So Prerna, could you take this slide for a few times and then I go back? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So guys, if you remember yesterday when we were discussing about the overall understanding of the process and requirements, and that time I did mention about stakeholders. So anybody who remembers about stakeholders? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yeah, and though we had a quick understanding of what's a stakeholder, I had said that we do have dedicated slides for that. So carrying forward what we learned yesterday, I will just request someone to read out the text. I mean, there are 2 paragraphs and then points. So minimum 3 people. Anyone who wishes to speak can join. Please start with the, I would say, like understanding or definition of stakeholder. Yeah, go ahead.
As a stakeholder has a vested interest in a company and can either affect or be affected by a business operations and performance.
Stakeholders are those who directly impacted by the project and those who may be indirectly affected. Examples of directly impacted stakeholders are the project team members or a customer who the project is being done for.
Yeah, so please read out the typical stakeholders. Yeah.
Typical stakeholders are investors or sponsors, employees, customers, suppliers, communities, governments, trade associations.
Thank you so much for reading it out. So, the first line itself has a very, I would say, explanatory understanding that a stakeholder has a vested interest in a company and can either affect or be affected by a business operations and performance. That means any person, institute, government, or group of people who have interest in your company along with your projects. I mean, they are your stakeholders. Okay, so we have examples of stakeholder. Before coming to that, let me also give you a brief understanding of what is internal and external stakeholders. Like the simple examples are, if you have a party or a get together at home, who are the internal stakeholders during that event? What do you feel?
The host.
Family members.
The host,
Family.
the
Host,
family,
family
the
members.
help,
The
the
family.
friends who are, yeah, the friends and family who are helping you to host that party. Yeah, and who
Yes.
are the external ones?
People
The
who are
guests
coming.
and the people
Yes,
who
who
are
are
coming.
coming.
Yes, absolutely. The guest or the other, maybe the neighbors that you're calling. I mean, they all come in guests. I'm just trying to bifurcate them for better understanding. Yes, absolutely. So same way, when we speak about stakeholders, our internal team with whom we are working day in and day out, our client for whom we are working, their project, and overall, these are the directly, impacted stakeholders. I mean, and whereas indirect means, see, investors and sponsors is self-explanatory, right? If I'm putting my money into something, I would definitely want that to work. Make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Employees, yes, because employees include your team. So, yes, they are. Customers definitely are your stakeholders. Give me a second. Suppliers. Okay, now you may ask suppliers in what sense? So now this actually applies to every industry. If we are dealing with textile industry, then all the raw material, cloth, even those are your suppliers. In case of IT, when we speak about all the machineries, network, software, so hardware like actual laptops and computers and servers, those are your suppliers, as well as if you're getting any employees or any resources on contract, like we studied or we heard about it last time, that when you need people, when you don't have a particular skill in your organization, you can get such skilled people from or skilled resources from outside of your company. So that kind of organizations or companies which are supplying you this resources, those are also your suppliers. So suppliers need not be only hardware, it can be a resource supplier also. Now, communities, you remember I was saying that if you donate to any particular NGOs or institutes, so they also want you to succeed, right? Because your profit share goes to them or their betterment also. Governments, yes, because the more profits you get, the more taxes you pay. You employ more people, the economy grows. So overall, it helps the government for the well-being of people. And last but not the least, trade associations. So any trade associations, particularly to that industry, they are also at benefit when the industry or when the organization grow, right? So it's a win-win for everyone. So, so do you feel how, I mean, can you see how inclusive it is or how vast the scope of the stakeholders is? And will you be able to answer if anybody asks you like who is a stakeholder or how many stakeholders are there overall? Like, will you be in a position to answer that question? Yes,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
So,
yeah. You
uh,
feel comfortable about this topic now because see, it's a very important topic, though it's a small one.
so Prerna, the suppliers,
Yeah.
communities, government, and trade associates, they are direct or indirect
They are
stakeholders?
they are in a way indirect, right?
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
see, they have an input into your work,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but they, I mean, see, suppliers, I mean, they send resources, but the supplier company won't come and work for you. They can send 1, 2, or 5 resources. But then, see, if your project is doing good, then you will employ more of their resources. So they are also getting money,
Mhm.
right? Same way for community. If you are making profits, you will donate to them, or you will do more of charity, or you will do, you'll give more of funds to them. Whereas if you're not making profits, you're
Mhm.
sadly running into losses, you won't be in a position. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying it's a win-win for everyone. If you're doing good, if you're doing well financially. See, by the way, when we talk about doing good in business terms, please consider everything financially, right? We will come to the human well-being part later, but when we talk about business and stakeholders, it's always on financial terms. Because ultimately, see, if a sponsor or investor is investing into your project or your company, are they more interested in your cultural programs or the money that you're going to give them in return? Tell me honestly.
Money.
Profit, the money.
Right? Right? Yeah. Because they are here to make money, that's why they are called investors and sponsors. Otherwise, they would have called that as a charitable institute. Yeah. So everybody is comfortable with the stakeholders understanding.
Yes.
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 Okay. Yeah. So now, as I told you, it's a very, very vast and important topic. After understanding what is a stakeholder, we can get into understanding how to manage the stakeholders. Gaurav, just a note to you, whenever you feel comfortable, you can
Yeah,
pitch in.
I'm
Yeah.
comfortable, so I can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm little down on my throat
No,
today
no,
somehow.
no
I'll
problem.
pitch in
Yeah,
between. You can continue
yeah,
till the
yeah.
time
No, no.
you
I'll
are
I'll
comfortable.
ask you from which slide you can continue. So
Sure.
because I'm en route,
Yeah,
so
you'll
my
be
network will
traveling.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
So
Go
what
ahead.
you see, guys, here, what you see, guys, here is about the flow. This is a kind of a life cycle you can perceive it as. So it all starts when you have identified your stakeholders. Uh, Stakeholders is not just the customer. So far, you know that who all have the stake in the project. You're going to identify them, and whatever their needs are there, then you choose to just track all of them. And for tracking, you choose to do documentation. And there you need of the document that becomes your next step. Okay. And the moment document is being done, here the comes that who all are the key contributors whose analysis is most important. You further analyze who will be the key contributor, what are their interests, okay, and what they are influencing to. Okay, these all things once you identify, then you have to categorize their expectation as well. Why expectation? Because based on that, you come up with not only just theory but also the actionable item, to which we call it as a action item. So coming back, the first step, you identify the stakeholder, then move to the documentation need identification, then you analyze their influence and interest, and then next step, that's the bottommost rectangle that says that manage their expectation, where you will manage by categorizing them into individual stakeholders expectation, and along with that you will move towards the next item, which will be drawing their action items. Okay, once action item is there, then to to be double sure, and you perform a double check where you do the review and repeat to identify the stakeholder, anyone is getting minimized, taking the stake back, or how it is. So this is the continuation process when it comes to stakeholder life cycle. We can continue to further to know more in detail about it on the next slide. So we can move to the next slide, Prerna. Okay, so here you see that there are 8 principles for stakeholder management, and every step, in fact, the whole idea is that these are to highlight the actions, okay, which indicates their motivation, which indicates how they have to be engaged, and you must adopt that process when you are as a business analyst. Even though it is said, we generally automatically practice it. Why? You are going to listen to them. Okay, you acknowledge whatever they feel like saying. While you are acknowledging, you are monitoring, okay, whether you are really well listening to them or not, or you are tracking whatever you have listened. or any action item is required based on that or not. So that's the another idea. And then just give me a second. Yeah, coming back to this, you need to continue to listen and communicate, and then adopt, even recognize. These are the few steps, and then you come back to work, and few things which you can avoid, you choose to avoid them. All right? Is it clear, everyone? Any question around it? So
No.
these are 8 principles you need to know. These are very simple and as written can be understood. Okay, just wait a second. Yeah, we can move to the next slide, Prerna. So when it comes to skills, so normal skills are there. You can definitely polish. It should be, when it is talking about communication, it could be the written communication, verbal communication. You continue to see how you can master it. Okay, wherever you grab the opportunity, like you get the opportunity to get included into RRP session, you create your LinkedIn profile. So have you all gotten into your LinkedIn profile optimization? Have you done that? And this
Not
question is
yet,
to all of
Gaurav.
Yes.
Not yet.
you. Okay, so in case you are not doing, whenever you are going to start, utilize that to communicate. Okay, how will you communicate? Whatever the knowledge you are gaining or you are just improving upon. So start, excuse me, start talking about that, start mentioning that, and start elaborating that. That just not only makes you authority, help you to stand as an authority, but also give you to power to communicate frequently, and thereby you will continue to become the master in it. So this is the one opportunity you must continue to grab. Then planning phase. Okay, so start thinking about some short-term project, although we are going to give you anyway, but you must be very good into planning. When we are talking about the planning, make sure not the details have been missed out, because as not a regular thinker, we happen to miss the steps. Okay, planning helps you to be the detailed thinker. Okay, because this is the expectation. Detail oriented business analysts are expected in the industry. Okay, so you should be very good when it comes to the planning. Then expectation management, you are tracking them, you are taking a note out of it, and you are coining up the action item against it. Then again, leadership and negotiation skills are a few important aspect. Why leadership? Because sometimes the difference of opinion are there. You need to be a situational leader. Although Scrum Master is there, but that is outside. But when it comes to inside, like team members to be managed, persuaded, as well as to be gotten on the one decision. For that, your leadership has to be up on the top. Okay, and for that, to sharpen it up, you continue to be the highlight, or be the person who is visible even in one gathering. Can you take one or two small challenges with the spirit, and can see that you are good in delegation, or you are good in distributing the work or not. So you will continue to get the opportunities, and in case you don't, start seeing from those eyes. Okay, and then you will find yourself developing as a good leader. So that only can come through these skills, although on job you are going to anyway learn. But I would suggest, before you learn these skills on the job, start mastering into the everyday opportunities. Okay, then project management. Of course, if you have handled any event, okay, any event, because many of you are starting from novice going towards expert, and in the coming week I will be more go in detail with the sharing of the guidelines that can be the agreement between you and us, that how you can continue to grow and continue to crack an interview to get placed. So what few things you can take care of. So by the way, are you listening to me and understanding what I'm trying to speak up?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I should not feel that I'm just speaking and no one is listening. That's the reason a quick check with you all. And then see, this ability to managing any event, whether it is in-house event, it is throwing a party and planning about it and executing it well, and you are hitting the success frequently, even in a birthday party or normal get together or in some marriages or marriage anniversary. If you could have done it all alone, trust me, you are good eligible for a project management. However, it is expected. So there are many learning out of that you will be drawing. That's the reason I gave you this example. Otherwise, this is one skill you must knowing. You must be gradually mastering it. When it comes to assessing the need, that's as a business analyst, you are supposed to mastering it, and eventually you get to see yourself emerging as a problem solver. So these are the few skills are required from a successful business analyst. Because you are future business analyst, just know that what all are the basic needs are expected from you. Any question around it, guys?
No.
So
No.
in case you think that you should master this skill, I would suggest you separately that wherever you find the opportunity to enhance this skill and you want to join some classes, wherever it happens, or feel free to gain some extra skill by getting into these classes, by learning this skill. It depends upon from where you want to enhance your knowledge around it. So good. If no question, then we can move to the next slide. Prina, we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So here the 5 key elements are there, which says that how leadership, operations, and processes, and then data management get integrated when it comes to the usage of technology. And yeah, so these are the 5 questions. Oh, sorry, 5 elements. And because things are moving towards the data, you need to know how data are managed as well. So we can move to the next slide, Prerna. Yeah. So even for so when it comes to data is considered to be information, okay? And how in the industry information is managed. So even information management have the life cycle. So first you plan it, you collect it from somewhere, you create it, or you receive it from somewhere, okay? Then those data are authentic or not, that you are going to look at it, okay? And for that very reason you authorize them. You see that if they are not quality data, you make sure that it gets cleaned in a way that it becomes the quality data, and that data are required to be accessed by the people. When we are talking about data can come in any form. Can you tell me what all form you know about the data? So you give me any example. So even you consider this as a data, that as a data. So what comes in your mind when we are talking about data?
Data can come in Excel spreadsheet with all the information, or it can come as in requirements in a document.
What else comes in your mind?
Like
And
Data can
details
be
of the
used for an
customers,
employment
details of the
Okay.
customers,
Yes.
in
inventory.
an organization. It can be the data can be the details of the personal details of the employees,
Great.
which we call the
So you
master.
gave me yeah, I got the temperature now. So yeah, you are right. So you have fair understanding of the data, and whatever these data you are requiring. Sometimes some data are so sensitive. Some data are banking data. Those are coming that requires to be having credential to access them. Okay. So, and that's the reason those are made restricted to access anyone and everyone, even though they are encrypted. So such files are required to organize well, okay, so that further you can go ahead and describe the level of sensitivity and the level of criticality of those data. And while you are maintaining that, remember to take a backup, because tomorrow if you have the original copy, original, and if you miss that somehow, if backup is there, you are always safe. Okay, and those data wherever it is required, to analyze further, to understand what kind of data it is. Okay, you continue to analyze that, and then after the analysis, if you require to distribute it with the other stakeholders, you can definitely go ahead and you distribute that. And once work is done, it requires to be purged. What is the word, everyone? It requires to be purged. What is the word?
Purged.
Purged.
Yes. So purge is the terminology that you continue to happen to hear when you are dealing in database, or in the banking industry, or even in insurance industry, when you are the business analyst heading towards banking and insurance. Okay. And yeah, so using purge, you try to destroy them gradually, not immediately, but gradually. So that, so this is the few flow. This is the exact flow. You can take the screenshot of information management lifecycle. More you know, you can continue to develop your thing when you need to address them. So everything has been bulleted over here, and the same pictorial representation you can see at the right hand side. We can move to the next slide, friend.
Gaurav, when you say purge,
Yeah.
is that an app or any application
No,
that?
no, no. This
Okay.
this is a term. Purge means
Okay.
deleting. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. It's an official word. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. PURGE, purge. Okay, so like for PM project management, we have PM box, Scrum, we have Scrum box. For BA, we have BA box. We have heard about them. Okay, likewise, to manage information, we have something we will call it as a IM box, that is
Hello,
information.
Gaurav. I have a question.
Okay, you have question, continue to ask. In between, my voice may not be audible. Prerna, I would request that time you please take over. Yeah, go ahead. Shoot your question, sir.
Okay, so it's regarding a data. Now you said that data may be in any format.
Excuse me, whoever is speaking, we cannot hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah. You are audible to. Go ahead.
Okay, so data is in any format, like in Excel format, or it may be in HTML format or any web page format. Like now, if suppose I want to retrieve data from HTML page, so do we need to know how to extract that data as a business analyst? Or suppose in Excel, suppose there are blank cells or some scrap cells, like any hash or asterisk records are there in a specific cell. So as a business analyst, do we need to extract that data? We need to clean that data, or means how we need to handle this particular situation?
Yeah. So I use the word clean if I believe if you have not missed it. Uh, so do you remember that I used the word cleaning
Yeah,
of the
but
data?
yeah, I understood that.
Okay.
But
Yeah, no,
as
no.
a
I'm just rechecking with you that whether I used this word and you heard it or not. Okay. So I will continue to answer your question further. So can I, if you have any further?
no, no, no.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So as a business analyst, the question is neither yes nor no. Okay, so it depends upon the situation. Okay, uh, so see, the thing is that sometimes data does not directly come to you. Okay, you know the process, what exactly has to be done with the data. Okay, there are experts who are data managers, or say data scientists, or to whom we call is a data analyst. Okay, so ultimate thing is that those data has to be made readable. From where you are extracting, that also matter, and at the end should be readable. You don't need to take the complete responsibility on your shoulder, that yeah, you need to go ahead and clean that. For that, data analysts are there. But if you know, that will be the added advantage. There are always certain things when you are happen to read in job description as an added advantage. Okay, if you have some knowledge, that will be added advantage. Yes, what you are talking, that some hash junk data you get to see in the Excel file and all, so whether you should be having the knowledge to clean them up. In case you know them, that is always good, and that's when some formula comes into the picture. So yeah, to answer them, yes and no. But when you are
Gaurav?
starting up, definitely you can take the help of data analyst. Yeah, go ahead. Some another
Hi.
question I'm getting. But before you move further, did I answer your question? Who was asking this question?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah,
I
go
think
ahead with the
regarding the
next question.
same, hi, yeah, regarding the
Yeah, hi.
same question, I'm just trying to add, let me know if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Um, is that the reason, like in the last video, you were saying it's better to have an SQL so you can retrieve data from the back end or from the database, basic SQL knowledge? Is that the reason, just to get some data?
Yeah, so see what happens, that as a business analyst, you try to dig the details, okay, because you are detail oriented guys. So what exactly happens? Sometimes you cannot put the time on the stake. So you decide, okay, I have this knowledge, let me do by myself. In industry, what may happen, you can definitely call out developers and all. But again, there is a dependency, right? If you have your own knowledge, what you can do, you know that. So what all data are coming? Say, for example, if you're going to decide some data has been given by the insurance industry or banking industry, and they have got some data visible when it comes to customer end, and you know that customer has promised you, or they asked you or taken your promise that, okay, so customer data, we want to mask it, we don't want it to be visible to your guys, because what data we are retrieving, you should be knowing that already, so that the similar model you are going to develop. Okay, say for example, this is the situation, and I'm just thinking it loud to answer your question. And that is the time, if you are well aware and you are the expert, you are sitting and you are analyzing that time the data, so that you can address to the developer that how the design has to be taken up further. Okay, so there you can declare a quick instruction. Okay, uh, remember the column C has the customer information. It was supposed to mask, but there are few elements that are visible. I don't want you to look at them, and for that very reason, I have removed them. You have declared it, and you have just shared this similar information that there are some sensitive data. You cross check it. I believe that, and you send back so such data. But now you are well aware. Now your instruction and guidelines are very much strong. Okay, so and you are the key person who will help designers or developers to develop the customer's product. Okay, and that's when these small knowledge are going to help you to take the right decision, so that it will help to develop the right software
Right.
or
Yes.
customize
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
So let me move further. Information technology, there you retrieve the data. The whole idea is to improvise the business process. Why? Because that is going to benefit you to strategize that, so that eventually it impacts or bring the value addition towards the profit of the business that is being run. Say for example, in this pictorial representation, what you see that when it comes to information management, you get to include them as a part of project. Then you utilize the entire system to bring that, to introduce into some changes that is required in the business. Someone is willing to say something? Okay, let me continue. And thereby you identify the processes, because ultimately why you are doing, because things go process oriented, and you can include them as a part of operation, so that whatever the benefit you are going to get when it comes to business, okay, or the information you are loading inside the business to gain more benefit for their customer, you continue to do so, so that you will enhance the performance, and that can be continue to be included to apply into the business strategy. So that's the quick information you are going to see as a part of process inside information management body of the knowledge. Okay, so this is the few elements. See, this is so much insightful that when you encounter some say for example hindrances or interruptions, these you are going to develop by your own self. Eventually industry does not want you to develop by your own self, but rather follow certain guidelines. And for that reason, IMBOK comes into the picture. So if you have the access to it, that's always better. We can move to the next slide, Prerna. Yeah. So here are a few examples given that technology. Okay. So what does it include? Include hardware and software. When we are talking about the information system, IT built into a system that meets business needs and principles. These are few examples. Okay, I want you to take the screenshot because these are little bit of theory. Okay, you should be knowing, although the considering the level of um, you know uh, experience you are going to showcase, you might not require this, but yeah, for the sake of the knowledge, you should be knowing that when it comes to information system, what exactly you mean to say, to which you can refer to as a information system. When it comes to business information, how it gets collected. The whole idea from the information collection is to how you contextualize it. So context is always bigger and important than content. Means you are aware how to do part. If you are in knowing how, what becomes so easy. Okay, and especially it is said that when you know the why, how becomes easy, and you know how, then what becomes easy. So this is how the business information flows to strengthen any information flow system, and thereby you will be able to evaluate the processes around it. Why in processes? Because it is ultimately going to um, you know um, ultimately going to strengthen your decision making skill, and based on that you can coin up with the various benefit to add into the revenue as well as the profit, and you are very much clear when you will go back and review that what all the strategy coined up while you were taking the decision, and you will again go back and make them as a part of process. So this is the summary of this slide. Any question around it, guys?
No.
No? So we can
No.
move to the next slide, Prerna.
Yeah, Gaurav, we are at the end of the slide. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want, you can continue, Prerna, for activity diagram, or I'll just let you take over from here. Yeah.
Yeah, Gaurav, I guess we are towards the end. So I'll like to open this channel for questions if they have any. Today we have covered a lot of details like stakeholder management, information management, PMBOK guidelines and stuff like that. So guys, overall, if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. If no, then I think we can close for today.
Prerna, I have one question. It's
Yeah.
not.
I mean, should we assume the silence for no doubts, or you can
Hello,
just
I
say
have
that?
question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's not today's question. Yesterday we did requirement gathering, and
Yeah,
that there is
Ketan,
a
yeah.
solution requirements like
Mm-hmm.
functional requirement and non-functional requirement. So
Mm-hmm.
can you explain me once again? Means I missed some part of it, and means I'm not able to figure out what exactly it is. And
Okay.
along with that, that transition requirement, if it is possible.
Okay. So, see, solution requirement has the word solution in it. That simply means that whatever project or product or web application, maybe mobile application that you have, how their features, how their functionalities, how that will serve you. So to make it further simpler, like for example, if somebody asks you, what does Amazon.com does to you? Or how does it help you? What kind of answers you would have for Amazon.com?
Just for buying online products.
Yeah. So you might say buying pin to piano, everything at one place. Yeah. So to come to that level of expertise, Amazon had their own solution requirement. Like how did they do that? Okay, they decided first, as I mentioned yesterday, they started with a book selling, website. Okay, so initially when they started, they had a solution only for book lovers or people who want to buy books. But then gradually they moved into other criteria. So the focus of solution requirement is that whatever features or I would say characteristic any particular your application or your website has, they should be able to meet the needs or what the requirements the customer has given. Like if the customer is saying I want okay, if the customer is saying I want I would say hospital management website, and if you give them Amazon similar website, will that work?
No,
Why?
because requirement is different or
Yeah.
means
So did you provide a proper solution by giving them an online e-commerce website?
no.
No, right? Yeah. So for them, what is required? For them, a detailed, a proper hospital management system that would include, okay, all the patient's history, existing procedures, operations, existing availability of rooms, or appointments for the doctors, and all that, Medicare facilities that they provide. So you see where the solution requirement comes from. So for a Medicare or medical industry, that is the kind of solution they are looking for. If tomorrow you are making a website for a school or university, right? So even for them, you can't have a website like Amazon. You have to make a website that is showcase their courses, availability of teachers, details about the teachers or school history or what all activities they have, if the tie-ups they have with any other organizations for betterments of student. So this is the solution requirement. You have to be first of all in the context, right? So when I give you the example, I'm not sure yesterday or in some other class, like if I tell you to bake a cake, how specific is that, or is it vague? I just tell you to bake a cake. Will you be able to bake a cake when I say, I mean, just a hypothetical but very easy to understand example. Will you be able to bake a cake, or you would ask me certain questions?
Yeah.
That Prerna,
Ask you some questions.
like, yeah, what is the quantity? What flavor? I know, and there are n number of other details. Yeah. Yeah. But so where how your solution comes is as per my requirement. So that is solution requirement. Okay.
Okay.
Am I clear in my explanation,
Yeah.
Ketan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now
And
moving on to transition
yeah.
requirement. Yeah. So I'll okay, transition requirement, let me give you a different example. Sorry. So all of us, when we were toddlers, we had a very different set of requirements. Okay. When we became teenagers, we had a different, like when we were toddlers, the only thing that was on our mind was maybe just playing around and having food means milk and whatnot, other stuff that we were at least able to have and stuff like that. When we and then that time our parents or siblings were world to us. But then when we became preteen and teen, we became rebel, and our requirements were, okay, give me the latest phone, give me the latest gadget, I want to have this game on my whatever, no, my lap, my computer. I want privacy. I want my friends. I don't want my family to be around. So you see the transition. Now, this is a real life example. When I map that to project management or IT industry, while during development phase, my requirement is, okay, I would need this kind of laptops, that kind of software, this kind of actual resources or employees who can work on this skills. But when I complete and I deploy or I deliver that to my customer, my requirements are, okay, the customer should have that much setup, okay, we should have that much bandwidth, network bandwidth, or we should, I would say, teach or train the team of specific people from the customer, then they can use this application. So at every phase there is a specific or different requirement. So that is why it is called as transition. You transition from development to testing. Even the testing team will have different requirement. Testing team like, okay, give me the list of functionalities that you have worked on. So on that they make test cases. So I understand it will be little different for you to visualize all this, but if you put yourself into their or real life scenarios, like like for example, today, imagine if some of you are not working full time and you are being a homemaker or you're doing some work from home. What are your daily requirements? Like, like, okay, be at home, maybe cook and clean and do some extra additional chores. Tomorrow when you get placed, what would be your requirement? You might have to get a nanny, you might have to get a house help, or you might have to find a crush for your kids, or you have to drive to the office, you have to cook for yourself also along with your spouse, for for your tiffin or stuff like that. So did you see the transition of being a complete homemaker to a full-time job person? Yes,
Mhm.
no?
Yeah. Yes.
Same transition applies in projects also at different phases. Okay, I have
Okay.
I answered your questions, Ketan?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody has any questions further, or are we good to end today's session? Let me know. Yeah, if there is a no, then absolutely fine. And then yes, I did see your messages yesterday, but more or less, it was, I had a feeling that the later people were just copying the subjects. So I just want you to write in your own words what you understood more, or what you I won't say like, but what which topic gave you more emphasis. Like, today you can say, okay, information management was very interesting, I learned something new, or stakeholder management was really good to know fact, we didn't know there were so many types of stakeholders. So I appreciate you writing messages in the group. Please continue doing that. But apart from only copy pasting the topic names, have your own inputs. See, tomorrow you're going to be BAs or scrum master, so have this practice of writing in your own words. Okay, along with that, you can also share your feedback for trainers. That's definitely up to you. So please feel free to write, and please rewatch this video again. We will meet next week. Until
Hi,
the
Priyanka.
time, please brush up your all the sessions. Yeah.
Oh,
Anybody was saying something?
yeah. Hi. Can you send that practice Excel spreadsheet with the data, like false data, so we can practice the pivot and all other.
Yeah, fine. I'll check with Gaurav and I'll share that on the.
Okay, sure, no problem. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Mridula, sure. I'll do that. No worries.
I have a quick
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, Olu, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to ask, when we're talking about the stakeholder management, where we mentioned manage stakeholder expectation, is it supposed to, how we talk about scope of the project sometimes, is it supposed like, sometimes stakeholders have, they have these grandeur expectations. Some are out of the this
Out of the
totally
world.
out of, yes. So is
Yeah.
it like trying to make it align with the scope of the project, to streamline it, or just to tell
Yes.
them that, oh, this system is not going to be able to do this, something like that?
Yes. You remember yesterday when you asked that, okay, if there's something out of scope, how do we handle that? Then I explained that, okay, we have to give them additional time and we have to charge them for additional amount and stuff like that. So same way, see, stakeholders' expectation is like your parents' expectation out of you, to be very honest,
Okay.
They want you to be astronaut and engineers and medical professional or anything. And you might really want to be a painter or maybe a potter for that matter. So that was see, anything related to scope and within the limits of understanding is fine. See, as an investor, the investor will expect you so many projects to work on.
Prerna?
They speed.
We
Yeah.
didn't hear anything, Prerna.
We lost your voice in
Yes.
between.
Really? I don't know,
Yes.
maybe the network drop. Okay, so I was just saying that yes, each and every stakeholders will have their own set of expectations. I was saying that an investor might expect billions, in return from a particular project, but that's not a ground reality. Whereas a charitable institute that you're supporting, that might want a huge sum of money because they have so many projects to work upon. They have so many people to feed, so many kids, maybe if that's an orphanage, or if that's a school for underprivileged. So yes, all the stakeholders will have their own set of priorities and expectations, but then we as a team of Scrum, we have to manage from our own scope. If you make profits, then definitely you'll give the share to that organization or that underprivileged orphanage or anything that you're supporting. If you're making profit, then definitely your investment is going to get good returns, but that amount is not in your hand, right? It is in millions or billions or trillions, or for that matter in n number of amount. So the point is, we have to stick to what is the requirement, how well we can deliver it with good quality, so the customer retains with us, we grow business, and that goes for a longer time, so you be in business for a long time successfully.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So thank you for your questions. If you have any, you can still later also put it on in the group, or you can ask in the next session. So thank you for your interactions, and please feel free to write and share your feedback on the WhatsApp group, and we'll correct next week. So thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you, guys. Bye.